Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. Give me those Star Wars, please let them in. Star Wars, if they should bar wars, please let those Star Wars stay. That's all I got. I butchered that.
Yeah, you forgot to
switch it over to our crawl at first.
So now we have a cold open.
We do.
So now we're just like Rogue One.
A little bit. We're non-traditional.
Yes.
Which is fine.
Because we know Rogue One does not have a crawl.
We do. So in essence, we are being truthful to our material today.
Yes.
Our material that is this. Rogue One plus so much more.
Yes, so many things to talk about.
On this, our last episode of this year's Star Wars retrospective, from Rebellion to Resistance. Sorry, it's been a long day.
It has.
We've watched many terrible things. Many good things.
Many good things, but many terrible things.
We don't have anyone popping in the chat just yet, but I'm sure they'll be here in a moment. So why don't you get us started?
All right, so today we're going to be talking about, if you have us clicked on the screen, right?
Yep.
All right, just making sure. Today we're going to be talking about Rogue One, things that we didn't like about it, things that we did, and some important scenes. We're going to be talking in general about some different animated series and mention, and then you're specifically going to talk about the Clone Wars animated series.
At least a little bit.
We're going to talk about some role-playing games in general, particularly the ones from the Fantasy Flight series.
But I'll make mention of a few others, as is my tradition.
We're going to be talking a little bit about Star Wars video games, and specifically we're going to talk about the Nintendo 64 Shadows of the Empire, and then
the Force Unleashed.
Yeah, Force Unleashed, which is from the last generation of consoles. And then finally, which you've all been waiting for, the holiday special.
Yep. This was tough, guys.
So tough.
So, let's get started.
Let's get started. All right, so Rogue One came out last year on December 16th, so it's literally been a year.
It is the 1 year. I did not even realize.
I did not even realize that either. So, Rogue One, 1 year later, how do we feel?
It's fine.
I remember liking it a little more when we saw it in the theater, but yeah, seeing it on the small screen did not work for me the second time as much. It looks like we got Kimber joining us, so hello, Kimber.
I feel as though the things I liked about Rogue One when we watched it in the theater, I still really liked out of the theater, but the things I did not like about Rogue One were not fixed by a second viewing.
Yeah, and then Kimber saying Rogue One sucks.
Yeah, as a whole, it's not great.
All right, so one of the major issues in Rogue One are all of the CGI things, not just with the people as we see here with Princess Leia, but like a lot of CGI ships and that kind of stuff, and it looked really bad on our little TV.
Really bad.
So we're doing some kind of side-by-side comparisons of the major players. So on our right-hand side, we have the true Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, and then on the left-hand side is the digital recreation. It was an actress that had kind of the like feature capture. She was like covered in little dots to render her to look like Princess Leia, and especially like on screen it looked really weird, but to me it didn't look like a hot pile of garbage. It just felt off. But it wasn't that awful. Joe, I think you have some different opinions about that.
I don't think it was necessarily awful, but I actually kind of like Tarkin better. And I brought up why when we were like, because I realized it as we were watching it, this nuzzling up to watch, doing this special, because Carrie Fisher's face is smoother than I cannot remember the actor who's played Tarkin. Not the point. The CGI version, you can see a lot of the design lines, like the border lines, a little more pronounced than you could on Tarkin, because Tarkin is old and wrinkly and a face covered with a bunch of details, so it's harder. it's harder to notice the mess ups amidst just age.
Yeah.
But they're both fairly bad. Cushing. Thank you, Tom. Peter Cushing.
Let me check something. If you'll switch over to the other screen, let me double check some things in my presentation real quick, because this doesn't seem to be playing in the right order of the things I had.
I did not see a thing of...
I had made one, so maybe I...
just didn't put it in or something?
Yeah, let me fix that real quick. Yeah.
That's...
Because I know I made one. Yeah, I covered it up with this. We cut. Nope. No, I made one. What are they saying in the chat?
That Tom still hates Rogue One. Gripe Vader's pun. Cushing is the name of the actor. Yeah.
Yeah, Peter Cushing.
And Kimber wants to know if we're going to wear these awesome sweaters for the OSP Christmas. Probably.
Probably. Isn't that Monday?
I think so. Oh, that's even perfect.
Yeah, let me just fix this real quick. Professionalism is our forte, which is actually the mispronunciation of that word. It should be called fort, but everyone says it wrong.
So, boom.
All right, so yeah, on the left-hand side is the CGI Tarkin, and on the right-hand side is the real one. And to me, every time I saw it, it looked like a CGI like cutscene from a video game. Like I could not let that go. It looks so much worse to me than Leia.
Which one are you saying is Tarkin? The real Tarkin?
This is the real Tarkin.
Okay, you said right-hand side.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
okay.
I'm not really good at left and right sometimes.
No, that's cool. No, I get it. It's cool. Yeah. I liked it. They're both imperfect, but I enjoyed it. I still thought it was fine. I hated it less than I thought I would have for using a CGI replacement for an actor who's passed on.
Yes, and then joining us is our friend Morgan, who's a huge fan of
Grand Moff. It's like we summoned him.
Yes, we're talking about Tarkin, and he shows up. But yeah, it just felt like a CGI. Cutscene from a video game. He felt out of place with everybody. Whereas I guess in Leia's shot, she's the only one that's in her shot.
Well,
so
we only get her for a moment.
Yeah,
like it's literally a split second. She's got like one line and then it's done.
Mm-hmm.
We see enough of Tarkin that it sinks in longer.
Yeah.
But I don't have an issue with it personally. I honestly don't have an issue with either of the CGI things. It's just it is obvious. It looks really bad, and I felt they should have done spent a little more time. But the characters, I don't think the characters were the worst part. Like you had mentioned, a lot of the starships were really bad.
Mm-hmm.
They were really bad.
Yeah, they stood out a lot. I noticed it a lot more on the home screen. What are they saying?
Fake Tarkin's face is stretched. I could see that. There's certain areas where he has less wrinkles, like in his brow and such. Morgan says, my feelings on Tarkin. We know he's the only person Vader cows to, except for the Emperor, which is something to notice. And Morgan says he goes wherever he's destined. And Tom says Superman's upper lip was worse. I agree.
Oh yes,
100%.
Way worse.
Most of the CGI in Justice League was worse. I'll take Tarkin over Steppenwolf any day.
Definitely. All right, so some dialogue.
Tom brought this one up already.
Yeah, be careful not to choke on your aspirations. Even in the theater, I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? Like, who wrote this? Like, did George Lucas, do a secret rewrite on the script?
I feel like ambition would have been a better choice of word.
Yeah.
I know aspirations can also be related to breathing.
But yeah, that just made it worse. Yeah. Seriously, who let George Lucas in the writer's room?
Yeah, it was.
Because that's like a prequel line right there.
And we've had Vader for 17, 20 years at this point. Like, he should know better now.
Yeah.
He's not little Annie anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, if you go with the timeline of his maturity, he should be way more mature than this.
I liked the idea. Of his little line delivery, but I don't like the line they chose. That's me.
Yeah, it was not a good line. And then some things that I felt were likes. They didn't try to do a CGI Mon Mothma.
They just got to look alike.
Yeah, she looks close enough, but definitely the Galactic War has aged her. If you think about it.
Yeah.
Totally. She looks so much, obviously so much
Well,
younger.
like, what, 5-year difference?
Yeah, so, I mean, a war is a stressful thing for a person. Maybe that also explains why Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru have aged like 20 years. Or like
more than 20
40,
years.
Yeah,
40
and
years.
20. Yeah, 40 and 20.
I feel as though they should have had her wearing different clothes. Is that like the only outfit she's worn for 5 years? But
hey, you pick a look and you go with it.
Yeah, but you can vary that look slightly. I'm not going to wear this sweater for the rest of my life. Tom thinks Vader was scary or quiet. Morgan liked the Vader line. Differences of opinion. It's true. That's the whole thing. Kipper saying hi to Morgan. Morgan was happy about the Mon Mothma stuff too. I agree completely. Mothra, Tom, really?
That's a different movie.
Yes, totally. Those Star Wars could use some kaiju.
That could be fun. All right, K2SO, the sassiest droid.
Yeah.
That has, actual speaking lines. R2 is still sassier.
Yep.
But we don't get to hear what R2... We just get to picture what R2 says. We don't actually get to hear the snark.
So I have a theory. It's not accurate at all, but I'm going to hold on to this theory in my heart. That K2 uploaded a portion of his personality into the Death Star plans, and they imprinted on R2, so he got even sassier.
I like when K2SO was like, you thought, like when she shoots the other droid, it's like, you thought that was me, didn't you?
You knew that wasn't me, right?
Yeah.
Right? And she's like,
yeah. And when he's like, Cassian, like, I'm going with you, Jin.
I'm
Cassian,
with you too.
Yeah, Cassian told me I had to be.
Yep. I loved K2, and yes, K2 is a leaf on the wind. If only because he is voiced by Alan Tudyk, who is magical.
He's like a really good voice actor.
He's a really good
actor in general. Yeah, he's awesome. Anything he is in is a lot better.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot better than if he weren't. So I definitely liked K2SO, and I think he looks pretty good too.
He is a relatively intimidating droid. My only complaint now at this point is that we don't ever see these droids again.
Yeah, you think they would keep using this kind of model?
Because it's a fairly effective model.
It's very intimidating looking.
And he takes out some stormtroopers by himself. So I know there are some people that don't necessarily like these characters as much, but I know we loved them.
Yeah, I especially loved Chirrut the best with his I am one with the Force and the Force is with me. And he had a lot of great moments where we got to see Donnie Yen show off his martial arts prowess and defeating all of the stormtroopers. I love that he's like a devotee of the Force, even though like all the Jedi are gone.
Yep.
And then Baze is like so annoyed with him. It's like, dude, what is wrong with you? Quit believing in stupid things.
For me, it's the little things like Donnie Yen or Chirrut and Baze are the ones that get drug along for the ride and then kind of get wrapped up in it too. I love that when they're first being taken to Saw Gerrera, they put a bag over Chirrut's face. He's like, "Are you kidding me?" Yeah.
But yeah, Tom's saying Star Wars Suicide Squad.
We knew what this movie was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that they couldn't like kill everybody.
Well, no, in general, it mirrors the Suicide Squad concept too, where it's just a bunch of misfits and ragtag losers crammed together to do a big thing.
But I quite enjoyed these characters. I enjoyed them more so than like Jin and Cassian.
Yep.
I would watch spin-off movies of these two forever. Just the adventures of Baze and Chirrut across the galaxy.
Yep.
I actually like the ending where it's, we make fun of this a lot in the prequels, especially in the third one where it's like the rush to starting, but I really like Darth Vader killing everybody because, Darth Vader is awesome.
In this movie, I love the memes that came up after this scene was released where it's basically Darth Vader is Hall Monitor of the year 2016. And it's true. This is terrifying, and scenes like this really hammer home why Darth Vader is a scary individual. It's this dark hallway with these troops, and they're trying to pepper him with blaster fire, but it's not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Leah, welcome aboard. You're here in time.
But yeah, I enjoyed this scene. This is probably what kind of like saved the movie for me, like at the time. But then on the rewatch, it's like, no, this movie's not that good, guys.
So basically, what saved the movie is everything after all the main characters died.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Now we got all those people out of the way. Who cares? Darth Vader's what you're here to see, people.
Darth Vader, the rush to starting position, everything else. CGI Leia.
Who cares about Jin and the dream?
Oh. I had to hear a hope one time.
So many times.
No, it's totally unnecessary villain glorification scene. Old pilot footage. Yeah, using old pilot footage from the original, it was pretty bad. Because they used clips and scenes from the original Star Wars movies for this, and it was pretty bad. And yes, this is unnecessary villain glorification scene. It's true. But you know what this whole movie is? Wildly unnecessary.
Yeah, this is definitely a story that didn't need to be told.
No.
Or they could have used a different medium to tell a story like this.
It could have been a comic.
This could have been a better video game.
Or a novel.
Mm-hmm.
This didn't need to be a movie.
Yes, and yeah, these anthology films definitely have me worried that we're going to get more mediocre Star Wars, and that's going to give more people, time to complain about, like, man, it's not the way it used to be. Because I've been hearing that a lot lately with the, Last Jedi. It's getting some mixed fan reviews.
Yep.
We even had somebody in our theater, and we mentioned this in our review yesterday, that said they liked Rogue One better. It's like, did you see the same movie that we all did?
Rogue One's trash. Like, it's trash with a little bit of goodness sprinkled in here and there, but all in all, it's not a good movie. Morgan apparently likes the footage usage.
And that's okay. We can all like different things. That part didn't bother me. It wasn't like a thing like, yes, I loved it, or man, that was the worst. It was just like, oh, cool, whatever.
I will say I was glad this was on Netflix.
Yeah.
Because I would have not wanted to pay for this right now. Like, I wouldn't mind buying this again when they release a massive collection.
If
it's part of it. Cool. I don't care.
Kimber said she would rather watch an hour and a half
of uncomfortable shirtless Kylo Ren. If only we can still also have the conversation going on at the same time. Yeah. Then I'm totally down.
Awkward moments in your life.
Does the Empire not have towels? Both, though. I'm happy with both. That's fair, Morgan. Yeah. In general, the movie is not great, but there are things to like about it to me. I did enjoy this because in a movie of unnecessary bullcrap, this at least was fun. It was unnecessary.
This is definitely a case of where like the trailer was so well crafted that it was way better than the actual movie. I would just rather watch the trailers again. And I know that like a lot of stuff that was in the trailers wasn't in the movie. And I think I had read something where they said like, oh yeah, let's do this cool scene real quick. And then that's like the stuff that was in the trailer. It was just like, this would look like a cool shot.
Yeah.
And not stuff that was actually like content.
This one definitely feels like they had a B team in it. Oh, we did.
Yeah, like I didn't mind all the little nods to episode 4, like that kind of stuff like made me happy in the theater, but like the second time around I would definitely notice more of the flaws in the movie. So, it's definitely a Star Wars movie. Mm-hmm. As they say, a Star Wars story, but out of like everything that exists in the Star Wars universe, as films goes, this is probably my least favorite thing. Or maybe not. Well, I still dislike the prequels more, so it's kind of like a little edge above.
I think I like Revenge of the Sith better than this one.
I could see that, and I think some other people have similar opinions as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, I felt that the most important scene in this movie was when Chirrut is doing his chant of "I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me" when he's going to ignite the little
the radio thing.
Yeah, so that they could execute their plan, because definitely a literal suicide mission.
Yeah. And
then that kind of inspired Baze to also have to like do his like last hurrah as well.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely no way that any of these people could survive because they're not in any of the other movies.
That's not necessarily true.
And then I also like that they didn't do Well, that's probably too much of a Last Jedi spoiler, and I don't know if everybody's seen the movie in the chat.
I know my sister's in the chat and she hasn't.
Yeah.
But we should in general avoid it in case other people haven't seen it yet.
It's true.
Next.
All right, so next we're going to talk about some animated series.
We're going to touch on most of this because
there have been
a lot to cover.
There have been a lot of different Star Wars animated series, starting with the two on the right-hand side. Ewoks and Droids were a TV series from like the mid-1980s.
Yeah.
And we're not going to go into too much detail about these because they definitely deserve a rewatch from us, but I remember them not being the greatest thing, and they're not canon. So if you have not experienced these shows, they're typical like Saturday morning fare.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we don't have a picture to represent this, but there have been two similarly titled Star Wars cartoons, Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars The Clone Wars, kind of like Ghostbusters and the real Ghostbusters.
But the Star Wars The Clone Wars, which is the 03 one Tom's bringing up in the chat by Genndy Tartakovsky, had some awesome stuff in it, but it definitely was like a one-season thing. Yeah, and I don't think it's considered too canon.
No, when I was looking up stuff online, it said that one wasn't canon, but then like Star Wars: The Clone Wars from the 2008 and then Rebels were considered canon.
Yep. So The Clone Wars, the CGI animated one, original run August 15th to 2008.
Yeah, which started with like a little film that was actually theatrically released.
Mm-hmm.
I guess not everywhere because I don't even remember this coming out, but who knows?
Yep.
And then a series run of 121 episodes from October 3rd, 2008 to March 7th, 2014.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. With, I believe, the last season being picked up by Netflix, primarily.
Yes. So, and then I'm not real familiar with this, and this is the only slide that has this information.
Yep.
So, Joe, what do you know about this show?
It takes place between episodes 2 and 3. It's the story of Anakin as a Jedi Knight and his Padawan Ahsoka Tano, as well as other various stories involving the conspiracy behind the Emperor with the clones. I know the last season even involves them discovering the thing inside the clones, like at the last minute, and a handful of the clones can avoid Order 66. One of the things I really enjoyed was it actually makes you feel for all these clones. It was a lot of fun. What episodes I've seen, I haven't seen a whole bunch of it. I believe a lot of it's online. You can watch somewhere. I don't know where. Let's see. It set up Grievous. Interesting. The Clone Wars movie made before the series. Are you talking about how the CGI? Cody is Cody is awesome. Commander Cody. I think Rex is another one that's awesome. I think Rex is the one that they're like is actually still part of the rebellion. They modeled after one of the actors in Jedi. In general, it was a lot of fun. It was really good. You also are introduced to a lot of other characters, like Tarkin is in Clone Wars.
Nice.
As a Republic general that is quick to be like, that's cool. I'll work with the Emperor. I don't mind. Lots of cool stuff. Fantastic. But yeah, Ashley mentioned it, the CGI movie that came before the series, and then moved into the series afterwards. And it worked so well that when Rebels was a thing, do we have a slide for Rebels? Or okay, so. That Rebels was a thing. A lot of characters came back from Rebels, as well as like bringing back characters from previous movies, like Darth Maul, finding out how he survived. Actually, Darth Maul was brought back in Clone Wars. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. Maul comes back in Clone Wars, has robot legs, gets better robot legs, becomes a more powerful Force user, finds the Witches of Dathomir, and then in Rebels, he his story arc ends with him finding Obi-Wan Kenobi in a lonely Tatooine desert, and then them finishing their duel from ages past.
Nice.
One of the other episodes also deals with Ahsoka and Anakin fighting after he's already become Darth Vader and stuff, and it's kind of an emotional thing. Both of them are emotional to me. A lot of people didn't like the Darth Maul and Obi-Wan one because it was kind of anticlimactic, but Obi-Wan was better.
Right.
So, anywho, we gotta move on. We have a lot of crap to cover. So.
Yeah, what are they saying in the chat while I transition to the next slide?
Tom was bringing up, like, asking about the CGI movie, which I know you mentioned. That Maul came back. Tom loves Cody, Commander Cody. He is awesome. That's true. Saw Gerrera from Rogue One was originally from Rebels, which I thought was kind of cool.
Anything else that we missed from people scrolling and stuff?
As Admiral Radisson during Battle of Scarif for Rogue One, May the Force. Oh, Morgan's got to go, so he was saying, "May the Force be with you," and we got to go.
Okay.
So, that it set up Grievous. That the Clone Wars, the CGI movie, set up Grievous, which I thought was cool. So yeah, that's about it. Cool. All right, so now we're going to talk about the tabletop role-playing games, primarily by Fantasy Flight. They have here Edge of the Empire, Force and Destiny, and Age of Rebellion. They also have they released a Force Awakens pack as well that adds like some setting information, but didn't really do anything for the game otherwise. But yeah, we both really enjoyed this game, like a ton. Awesome. This was from the Edge of the Empire starter pack. You got your pre-made characters here on the side, as well as Ashley's favorite Hutt.
Yes, this is Timo the Hutt. He is the best Hutt ever, and he is so real. The realest Hutt. Joe said he wasn't real.
He's technically
real in our heart.
He's an invention of the role-playing game.
It's real.
Fine. It's fine. But we played quite a bit of this, and we have a fun story involving the last Comicpalooza we went to, where we actually got to play Force and Destiny with the creator of the game, whose last name I can't remember. Sam.
It's probably on your book.
It's probably on the book. I'm gonna reach back here and get it. This is the book. And let me just open the first parachute. Yeah. He autographed the book for us. Thought it was awesome. I think it's Sam Stewart. Because I know it's not Sam Witwer, even though that was my Sam Stewart, lead developer. Boom.
Yeah, and he was a super nice guy. The game that we played was really fun. We got to be Force users.
Because it was
use lightsabers and all sorts of stuff. The dice are really cool. Instead of numbers, it's little symbols of like you get like triumph and all sorts of other things.
It is definitely a non-conventional dice system.
Yeah, so you have to kind of figure out, okay, did you win or not? You don't know, so you have to like kind of look if you got like positives or negatives and like add them all up, and then you can roll for like light side and dark side, and that does something in the game. So it's really fun. Go back to this. When we played the Edge of the Empire starter mission, I got to be a Skara, the Twilight bounty hunter, and that was really awesome because I could just blow everything away, and people were super intimidated because normally, especially in the Star Wars universe, female Twi'leks are highly sexualized, so to be like a tough bounty hunter that didn't take anything was awesome.
Yep. It was so cool that not only did you end up playing the same character, because eventually after we did the starter set, we went on to have everyone make their own characters and just we're going to continue the game. And Ashley, as Oskara, continued playing the same character, as well as our roommate Luke, who played Pash, the pilot / scoundrel. So
didn't he make up like a weird last name for him?
Yeah, I don't remember what the last name.
Cobblepot?
Yes, he did.
I don't know
why. He ended
up
being Hash Cobblepot because apparently that wasn't what he went for his actual last name. But
yeah, because we're like making up a fake name to like get past the Empire or something. It's a really fun game. I like it a lot. So if you like role-playing games, it's definitely one to check out. The only thing that's kind of a hiccup is if you don't have the right dice. But they have like conversion tables. But I think
it just takes extra time.
Yeah, the dice are fun, especially when you get like those Triumph or what's the bad ones? Despair. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Welcome aboard, Billy. Tom says the light side token mechanics are fun. Yes, the light and dark side flipping token mechanic concept is a lot of fun. Where you start with a pool of light and dark side tokens. The GM can flip a dark side token over to light, and vice versa, to give benefits or drawbacks to the game or whatever.
We're getting some comments about our sweaters.
Yes, Leah loves the sweaters. Tom liked the autograph, and Kimber liked the autograph. Kimber also said we scared Morgan away with all the Rogue One hate. Kimber likes our sweaters as well. She wants the Salacious Crumb ugly sweater. Well, I mean, if it's got him on it, it's already ugly.
They did not have the GameStop we bought these from,
yep.
which are a Think Geek product.
You missed, Billy, you basically missed that, like, we're like, it's not a great movie. There's a few little fun things in it, but all in all, the movie's not that great. At least, you know, to us.
Yeah. And we talked about the cartoons.
We talked about the cartoons for a few minutes.
Yes.
So what do we got next? Oh, I also want to bring up real quick, there are other role-playing games, and there are two other companies that tackled this. Wizards of the Coast had two different Star Wars role-playing games, and West End Games had the original one back in the 80s. The biggest cool thing about the Star Wars role-playing games from Wizards of the Coast is they actually had like an Old Republic setting book and all sorts of other cool setting books that embrace the expanded universe of novels that are technically no longer canon or whatever.
I know we played the D20 Star Wars game, and like that one was okay, but I really feel like the Fantasy Flight one
captures the feel.
It makes you feel like you're in Star Wars, and
yep.
if you're a Force user, that you really do have, like, not really have these powers, but it feels like the most authentic replication of that. The D20 one was okay, but it wasn't great, and it like really discouraged you from being a Force user, I think. Or...
No, it discouraged you from not.
Okay.
Like that was the downside of the D20 Force one. Like if you didn't use, or D20 Star Wars one, if you didn't use the Force, you were lagging behind those that did.
I couldn't remember because I know in some, maybe it's like certain game masters are like, you can't have the Force.
Yeah, which the book encourages you do that because, you know.
Yeah. All right, next up, we're going to talk a little bit about video games, which there have been dozens and dozens of Star Wars video games, even back in the 1980s. Like for the Atari 2600, there was like a game where you were on Hoth trying to defeat the AT-ATs, but of course with the Atari 2600 graphics, they didn't look anything like X-Wings or AT-ATs.
What was the thing? Bird versus Camel?
Yeah.
So yeah, but the games have come a long way, and there have been a lot of Star Wars games that are not really within the concept of Star Wars.
Yeah, so like Battlefront 2 came out a little while ago, and like that's like a huge deal with a lot of people online.
And there were even originally Battlefront games back on the PS1. It's been a format that kind of lagged in the back for a long time.
The Star Wars Kinect game, you can find like a lot of hilarious videos making fun of this game. Especially there's like a dance segment that has a song about how like a Han Solo was awesome, and it's like the worst song ever. And then like one of the dance moves, if you'll go back to the screen we're on, in the Kinect game is like you go like this. It's like, what does this have to do with using the Force?
Did you not see Last Jedi?
I'm just saying.
Salty Uncle?
Yeah, but he wasn't doing like cool dance moves like, oh yeah, Kylo, you're not gonna get me.
He's like...
But yeah, and like apparently the Kinect game doesn't work really well. I've never played it. I'm just going by the experience of other people who have played this game. It's really glitchy, and like even like trying to use the menu, it's like no, because you have to like use your hand gestures, and it doesn't register very well. So
the Dance Unleashed is what Kimber's calling it. And she likes your dance move.
Oh, thank you. I'm so gifted in the dance arts.
There are people bringing up various games that we don't have listed here in our original list. Do not worry, we will be talking about some of them more in detail, as well as the fact that some of the ones we aren't mentioning here or going into great detail here could be brought up later. Mm-hmm. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe a certain stream could happen.
Maybe.
So,
what games are they mentioning?
Oh, well, Tom says one of his first games was the SNES. Which one?
Yeah, they had all three of the original trilogy games on the SNES. Separate games.
Let's see. My first game was New Hope for the SNES. Kimber played the N64 one. My sister is a bit upset that there's no KOTOR, and it's KOTOR. O-R. Mm-hmm. But yes, I get it. Billy's bringing up Force Unleashed. Tom is bringing up the Whalers. Yeah.
There's been a lot of Lego Star Wars games, which we've played a few of them, and they're pretty fun. A lot of the Lego games are pretty cool.
It's really a shame, though. For a while, there was a really bad dry spell of good Star Wars games, and there was the comment that a few of my friends and I made that were like, it's really bad when Lego Star Wars
is better than most of the other Star Wars games.
Yep.
But yeah, we don't have time to talk about every single last solitary Star Wars game, so we're going to focus on Shadows of the Empire and The Force Unleashed. So Shadows of the Empire was released on December 3rd, 1996 in the United States market for the Nintendo 64. It was later ported to PC, and you can actually, on GOG.com, which is a kind of like Steam, but in a different market, you can download this game. This is definitely one I would love to play again because I never had the chance to beat it because I'm terrible at video games.
Same.
But it's the story of Dash Rendar, and it takes place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And so you're kind of getting to meet some of the characters from those movies and interact with them. There's a really cool level where you're in the Echo base on Hoth and trying to escape. You get to fly around and destroy AT-ATs by doing the whole cord wrapping thing with them, which I was always terrible at, and then I finally figured it out, but it was still terrible at it. You get to fight droid IG-88. You get to fight Boba Fett. There's lots of really fun things in this game. You it's a typical third-person shooter experience. I don't remember exactly how far I got in the game. I remember the sewer level, but I don't remember too much about getting to any kind of final bosses.
You remember was it the bike chase scene on Tatooine?
Yeah, I remember doing.
Yeah, everyone hated that.
Yeah, I remember that. The thing that I remember most about this game, and I didn't have time to get a picture for it, was the Wampas. There was the ones on the Echo base area, but there was also ones in the desert area. And my friend Amber and we used to play this game a lot at her house. And one night, I was staying over and we were playing the game, and we would always get so scared of the Wampas. And then we got so scared, we were like, okay, we made this whole plan of what are we gonna do if Wampas break into your house right now and try to kill us.
This was junior high.
Yes,
this game came out.
Yes, I know. We made a whole plan of what we would do, where we would run, and how we would get away from the Wampas. And every time the Wampas would come out of the desert level cave, we would scream really loud, and her sister came and yelled at us. But yeah, we made a whole plan of, what if the Wampas come and get us? That's why I like Wampas. It's not from the movies, it's from this game.
Tom says Wampas are just big lassies. And Billy says never played this one because he was a baby when it came out.
Yeah. It was pretty 13. Fun. It was fun.
This was 7th grade, Ashley.
Yes, I know. This is the year the 64 came out.
So this one I'm going to talk about a little bit was The Force Unleashed, and there have been sequels and recreations and all sorts of stuff involving this. This is a very debated game among Star Wars fans because you play Vader's Secret Apprentice. It is crammed in here like Rogue One style crammed in, where it's between the prequels and the original trilogy. And it's a lot of fun for as bad as what it does to the setting and stuff. For as powerful as the Secret Apprentice is supposed to be, Galen Merrick is his name, by the way. I think it's Galen Merrick or Garen Malik. Galen Merrick. Or Star Killer, as he is called. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It introduced the crazy stuff like ripping a Star Destroyer out of the sky, which was one of the most annoying quote-unquote boss battles in the game. And the second one was kind of worse. Mechanically, it was a lot of fun, but it was even more terrible story crap because it turns out Vader cloned you and had a bunch of clones of you just crammed somewhere, and somehow he was able to find out how to clone people to have the Force as well. And I don't know, it was bad. It was fun, but it was bad. And yes, Billy is bringing up his first time he saw Sam Witwer in anything. Remember a lot of debate about the canon it was. Yeah, that's mostly where most of the debate comes in, is how crazy his powers are and how canon his abilities are. But Sam Witwer, who is a huge Star Wars fan, I think he even shows up on like a lot of the Collider shows about Star Wars debate and stuff, is also the voice of Darth Maul in the more recent Star Wars animated stuff, and in general is really involved in the Star Wars community. Great dude.
Nice.
Great dude. I also enjoyed crushing a AT-ST into a cube. It was a lot of fun.
All right, before we get into the thing everybody's been waiting for.
Let's check in with the chat real quick.
Yes.
I've been keeping up with it this time around. Billy here's Dash Rendar was great, and Kimber likes Wampas too.
Wampas are great.
And yeah, that's about it.
All right. The holiday special, guys. Let's get into this. The holiday special aired on November 17th, 1978. So it occurs between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, but it's not canon because George Lucas didn't really have a whole lot of involvement with it. It's written very much like a variety show, and George Lucas wishes this did not exist anywhere. If he could find like all the copies of the tapes, he would burn them. But this has been highly bootlegged for years. The first time I ever saw this was at my brother-in-law's house because he had a bootlegged copy of the tape that he got from the internet when that was a new thing. And so that's the first time I ever watched it. And then we rewatched it today. It's not great. So boring. I don't even think it's like worth hate watching it because it's just so boring. Like the first part of it is just like Chewbacca's family having family time. And it's just okay. Like this face sums it up. Harrison Ford's in this. And I don't even know how they got him to do it.
It may have been in his contract.
I don't know, but he actually seems like he's trying, but man. The faces of everybody. And then, like, yeah, Chewbacca's family is just, like, chilling. Their house is so normal looking, except for the fact that it's up in a tree.
Yeah. I'm like...
It's like a normal 1970s house.
Where they get this styling green carpet from?
I know, it looks like AstroTurf.
I would live in that house. I love their house.
And then, like, Luke shows up later, and it's like, what is this? How much bronzer is Mark Hamill wearing?
TV. Jeez.
It was frightening. I was like, whoa, what's going on? So yeah, this is Chewbacca's family. They are the centerpiece of this holiday special. And it's not a Christmas special. It's a holiday special. Life Day is an important holiday in the galaxy. And so we see Chewbacca with his wife Mala, their little son Itchy. No, wait, Lumpy, and then Itchy is the grandfather. I always get that confused because these names don't make any sense.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I don't even think Lumpy looks related to Chewbacca, even though he is supposedly his father. And then Chewbacca, he is really determined to get home to his family, and the Empire is interfering with things. That's the whole conceit of this special, is the Empire is looking for him and Han Solo, and Mala's worried that he hasn't come home yet. And you can only infer all of this because there's no subtitles on the Wookiees, which, you know, not that they've never subtitled it in the movies, so...
I guess.
Also,
this is something we noticed when we were watching it.
So, yeah, if you've never seen Too Many Cooks on Adult Swim, you need to go check that out because it's hilarious.
The villain of the piece, Bill.
It looks exactly like...
Or at least there's a resemblance.
There's a resemblance between Itchy and, the villain of Too Many Cooks.
Yeah.
It was a little uncanny when I saw it. Like, oh my gosh, it's that guy.
Yep.
And yeah, Princess Leia and C-3PO show up. R2-D2 was with Luke, and I don't know. She seemed to be having a little too much fun, maybe off stage, based on her performance.
Yeah, I would have to drink to get through this myself.
And then, like, the most messed up part.
This was hard to watch now.
I know, like, Chewbacca's dad, like, puts in, like, a tape in the living room of this, like, weird, like, Joy-esque from Blade Runner 2049, which I guess this movie, like, they stole that from this movie. Anyway, like, she's telling him everything that he wants to hear, and it's super creepy. And I don't think she's wearing anything, but it's network television, so they couldn't show too much.
Well, she's wearing something because they zoom out. And
yeah,
she's got a dress on. It's sheer.
Yeah, so it's basically like sitting in the living room watching, like, porn in front of his grandson.
He's VRing porn.
You're like, okay.
Very Demolition Man.
Yeah, like, the future is here, people.
Yep.
So yeah, that's like the creepiest moment, and it goes on forever.
It's painfully long.
So creepy. This is my favorite scene from the holiday special because I love B. Arthur.
Like, if you have to choose a scene that you're like, okay, this was at least tolerable, I would watch this scene with B. Arthur over getting my teeth pulled.
Yeah. Yeah, and she sings the song, and it's just like a typical bar scene for whatever reason. I don't even remember what the plot.
It was a bar on Tatooine, and the Empire shuts it down.
Okay, because the threads in this are loosely connected. Like, Harvey Korman's in it, dressed up as like a weird character that's doing a cooking show. Like, there's a character that runs a shop, and he's like giving a coded message to Malla about the rug she ordered, and it would be here. That was made by hand.
Yep.
Solo, and it was like so bad. But I guess that was it.
That is it. So that's been us talking about a lot of random Star Wars crap. Because a lot of it was crap.
Yes.
Between Rogue One and the holiday special, there's a lot of poop in that space floating around. Frozen turds.
But overall, because it had been a long time since I had seen the special, it was just so boring. It's like, why do people watch this? It's not funny.
No.
It's not even funny to make fun of it. It was just like, okay, this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Are we? Oh,
I napped for the first.
I know. I was like, wake up, dude! If I have to watch this, you have to be here. We're not watching this again.
Aren't Carney in the special? Yeah, I think
he's
the trader.
Yeah,
the merchant.
The merchant.
And he's fine.
Like, yeah, it's not that everybody did a bad job acting in it. That wasn't the problem. It was just so boring. It was like, I can't believe this went on television. Like, what was it like in the 70s? Like, oh, Star Wars is awesome. We'll just put any crap out there.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot to talk about the animated short in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah, with Boba Fett. That's where Boba Fett's introduced.
The Ralph Bakshi style animation, the discount Ralph Bakshi.
And, like, Han Solo's face is so stretched out, and, like, there's a picture of that next to the Kylo Ren, and it's like, look, they look alike.
Then also you have Luke and Leia looking like they have cat noses. Because all they have are these little dark triangles for noses.
Oh,
and they don't really have, like, nose features. It's so weird.
And finally, when Chewbacca and Han get to the house, and he's like, "I gotta go. Like, this is your thing." And then they go to like the Life Day ceremony that Princess Leia.
Yeah, they have instruments, or they have like little ornaments, and they hold the ornaments up, and suddenly it's them walking into the sun, and everyone else is there, and I don't know what's happening, but this is a nightmare.
Yeah, and then there's like a part where like it ends on Chewbacca and his family having dinner. Mm-hmm. It's like a typical dinner in the 70s.
Typical Life Day dinner.
The one part that was really weird narratively in this was when Malla calls Princess Leia, and Princess Leia's like, "Oh, I don't want to talk to you. Put Chewbacca on." It was so rude. Like, okay, like that's not my princess. Like, oh, what do you mean he's not there? Like, well, I'll call later. It's like, she obviously needs help, dude. Like, what is wrong with you?
What's wrong with this script?
And then, like, C-3PO has to translate because, you know.
It's C-3PO. You gotta have a reason for him to be there.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it was just, like, so boring. Like, I can't even recommend, like, if you've never seen it, like, watch it, because why?
I think everyone should see it once, because it'll appreciate what we had in the original trilogy era. And be like, you want to know what really bad Star Wars stuff is? It's this.
So bad. It's causing you to have allergy.
I think I'm getting spin-off sickness. Hey, Randall, Sorry you're late too, buddy. We're actually wrapping up.
Yeah, let's check in with the chat one more time.
Lots of love for Carrie Fisher. Lots of Golden Girls love. Kimber said #Bay Arthur, though she's more of a Betty White girl. Yeah. I get it. I was more of a Rue McClanahan, but Southern, so.
Yeah.
And then everyone loves Estelle Getty. Everyone.
They should have Estelle Getty in this. It would be so much better. It'd be hilarious.
But yeah, Billy asked if Art Carney was in it, and yeah, we talked about that shortly. Yeah, that was the Star Wars Holiday Special, and that was a thing.
It was a thing.
And we talked about Rogue One, which was a thing. It had spaceships.
It did.
And it had music.
It did. It had music.
It had hope.
So much hope. Don't lose the dream. And our cat is like cleaning itself in the background.
That's disturbing. I mean, it can't be seen on film, but that's fine. If we had a lot more time to talk about anything else Star Wars, what would you have wanted to talk about?
Probably some of the parody Star Wars things.
Like the SNL stuff?
Yeah, the SNL stuff that we referenced. There's tons of other, like the Family Guy Star Wars,
There's
Robot
Spaceballs.
Chicken, Spaceballs, the short parody that's like cops, but it's like the Troopers one.
Okay.
And like the Stormtroopers go to like Tatooine. And
one of the first big fan films.
Yeah, one of the big, a lot of maybe like trying to find some of the best fan films. Like my brother-in-law and his friends used to make Star Wars fan films, and they have a really funny one that I like.
The Jedi Gem Saber Shack?
Yeah, Jedi Gem Saber Shack. I need to see if it's online anywhere and share it with y'all because it's pretty hilarious.
Kimber asks if we're excited for Solo, or what we think about Solo excited or not. There's not a lot of confidence.
Yeah, like I like the actor that plays Han Solo in that, but I just don't know if he's really the right fit.
I don't know if this film's the right fit.
Yeah, and I know that like Lord and Miller were attached to it, but then they got rid of them for I don't know who's attached to it now. So I just think that these anthology films are. Like we don't need these. Like we're fine with the amount of Star Wars we're already getting.
I would be okay with the idea of doing other side stories, like a Star Wars story. But what I don't really want
is a rehash of things that we already.
No, I don't want anything attached directly, because like with Rogue One, it's about the people that got the Death Star plans, and with Solo, a Star Wars story, it's about Han Solo. I would like to see something else, some other element of Star Wars. Maybe something, and even if it's attached to a character that's not really a huge deal, like something about Bosk or IG-88 or other bounty hunters other than Boba Fett. But, you know, and Kimber brings up she'll watch it for Donald Glover as Lando. That's something we universally agree on. Yeah. That is like perfect casting. Perfect.
Yes, but as a whole, I'm not excited about it. I'm like kind of in the same boat as you are. I would rather see something that's different, that's not a tie-in to the main plot lines. I don't want to see anything that has anything to do with the prequels, the original trilogy, or the sequel trilogy. I just want something that exists in the universe, even if it's in one of those time periods, but away from that action. I don't want to, like, Han Solo doesn't need an origin story. He's already cool. We don't need to, like, we saw what happened when we gave Darth Vader an origin story. It didn't go well.
On the different hand of that, at least this time it won't be George Lucas involved in it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's going to be good.
It doesn't mean it's going to be good.
It could be worse.
Or it could be slightly better, but that doesn't still mean it's going to be good.
But I definitely don't have a lot of confidence in that movie. But, of course, we will go see it because... It's Star Wars. That's how they're getting us. They know
we're
they'll
go
go see it. They'll go see it.
I think the difference is, well, we go see it more than once because we're going to go see Last Jedi more than once.
Yes.
For those that don't know, we loved it. It was really good.
But yeah, I don't know what kind of story I'd want to see because there's like a lot of cool video game characters that I think could be fun, like in the.
Do something about Dash Rendar would be cool.
Yeah, because his story wouldn't necessarily have to be totally tied to the events.
Some other random event of Dash Rendar. Mm-hmm. But I don't want Force Unleashed.
Teemo.
I would rather Force Unleashed. We're not talking about Teemo now.
Teemo needs his own movie.
We're not talking #Teemo.
Teemo needs his own movie. #Teemo movie.
No. Okay.
Hashtag Timo movie.
No.
Teemo.
No.
You know how to spell movie.
No. No. Stop.
Why?
Stop.
Timo's the best. Timo. Where's Timo?
She's
Timo.
not freaking out.
Timo. Timo movie. Hashtag Timo movie.
Thank you for joining us. It is almost 8 o'clock here, and we're going to wrap it up. We've been doing this for about an hour. Thank you for joining us and being with us for this whole Star Wars retrospective thing we've been doing. Randall wants an Ahsoka movie. Something about the mouse droid could be good, or even Jar Jar movie. Oh my God, Billy, don't.
No Jar Jar movie.
Please, no gods.
No.
Please. Salacious Crumb, a Star Wars story.
Yes, I would watch that. That was Kimber, right?
Yes, it was.
It would be hilarious.
It would be like
Timo could be there.
It would just be him sitting there going like,
He's Timo's new friend. Me and Kimber are going to write the script later when we have time, which we never have. I got you.
Billy says that he loves Ron Howard, but he's making really crappy movies.
Oh
lately.
yeah, Ron Howard's
who's
the
in
one
charge.
that's attached to it.
I don't want like Oscar bait Star Wars. Like,
Ew.
I kind of don't want that, because that's what I feel like he's going to try and do. And I guess maybe it's
We're
a
going to
Timo.
learn about how to...
Kimber says it's a Timo up.
Yes. We're going to learn how the 12 parsec Kessel run happened.
I would imagine if they're going to do a story, unless they're making something up completely, that's what they're going to do, is the Kessel run. I hope I'm wrong. The Blue Dude in Jabba's Palace movie. Which Blue Dude? Max Rebo? Because I you know what? I would love a behind the music of Max Rebo.
That would be hilarious.
That would be fun.
I'm surprised no one's done that yet.
So, anywho.
Or the little whalers.
So, we're going to call it here. Y'all have a lovely evening.
Yeah, when that next movie comes out, we might do some more of these general looking into other Star Wars elements, like the things that we mentioned earlier. So there could be more to this series later.
And I'm not going to lie, all the Star Wars, all the time, the last week and a half that we've been doing this, and all the research we've been doing to get into this, has made me want to play the Star Wars MMO again, even though it's not set in the movie trilogy time. But it's free to play for people that want to join me.
Ooh.
I mean, maybe we can make a guild and we can be all adventurers together. Maybe we do something like that.
That could be fun. I've been wanting to find some Star Wars games to stream. Maybe that would be fun.
We could. I was gonna suggest Knights of the Old Republic.
Nice. Anyway, we're bad at goodbyes.
Y'all have a fantastic evening.
Thank you for joining us. Please subscribe and like this video.
And share with your friends if you enjoyed this whole retrospective. Have a lovely evening.